Minister, the US cannabis industry is growing at a compounding annual growth rate of 34%. Last year, or in 2022, it was worth $43 billion to their economy. In 2022, $43 billion. In 2023, it was worth $57 billion, and it's going. Predictions are that it'll be worth over $400 billion per annum to the US economy by 2032, making it comparable to the alcohol industry. And in actual fact, the alcohol industry is in decline. What are some of the policies that you are promoting in this state to attract the medicinal cannabis industry to the state?
So, Mr. Buckingham, you've certainly asked me questions in relation to the opportunities in relation to medicinal cannabis and the manufacture here. I know that we do have some companies that are doing some great work. I think from memory it was around the north of the state. The work in relation to specific industries has really been set by our industry policy, and that's led by Minister Chanthavong. He released that and talked about the specific opportunities, particularly in relation to renewable energy, critical minerals mining, amongst other things.
Did it mention medicinal cannabis?
I don't believe it did, but I'd be happy to come back to your notice.
So the state doesn't have a standalone... The Victorians have a medicinal cannabis industry policy, but New South Wales does not have a policy to help promote one of the fastest growing industries in the world.
Yeah, look, I certainly would take that on board, Mr. Buckingham, and I have to say I was surprised by the figures that you just read out then. They're certainly encouraging. I'd make the point that the industry policy is the first one that has been released in, I think, many decades, and that's really an initiative that's been led by Minister Chanthavong. As the Minister for Domestic Manufacturing and Government Procurement, my main focus is in relation to how we can be using the government procurement spend to be fostering our local domestic manufacturing industry. But I do have the opportunity to visit and to engage with a range of other domestic manufacturing companies and hear about the challenges they're facing. I'd be happy to take on board the feedback that you're providing and meet with any particular companies that you might like me to meet with.
What does take on board mean? So the government isn't doing nothing at the moment. You can't point to a single thing that the government is doing to help support this sector.
So I'd say that no, I wouldn't say we can't point to a specific thing. I would say that we are open to if there was a specific thing that they were asking for us to do. I know that I think we've discussed previously some federal policy changes that could be made, and I'd be happy to engage with those further if that's something that we could be doing. But I'd make this point, there are tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of local manufacturers who do fantastic work right across the state each and every day. I had the opportunity to visit the Arnott's factory just last week with the Premier, and that's a business that's been operating for 160 years. We've got other manufacturing businesses, for example, like Visi that I visited a couple of months ago.
Do you think the global biscuit industry is going to be worth $500 billion in 10 years' time?
Look, I'd say that there's some encouraging international opportunities for our Tim Tams that I won't write off and that they were telling us about last week. But you make a good point. You make a good point about the opportunities. I think I would be happy to engage with you further in relation to those opportunities if there's a specific ask. But the main focus of my work as the Minister for Domestic Manufacturing and Government Procurement is specifically in relation to how we can leverage those government procurement spend, and I would suggest that perhaps in the area of medicinal cannabis it may be somewhat limited.
All right. Thank you, Minister.